Hey YouTube, this is Brendan with Cusack Prep, and in this video we're going to be talking about how you can convert quadratic equations into vertex form. So what I have here is 4 sets of quadratic equations, and we're going to show you what goes into that. So step 1, what you do is you take the x squared in the x term, and you go ahead and you group them together like this with a set of parentheses around it. And you're going to leave a little space inside of the parentheses, and you go ahead and you put the 7 on the outside of the parentheses. Now, the equation that you want to remember is b over 2 squared, where b represents the coefficient on your x value. So what I'm going to do here is I take this negative 4, I divide it by 2. It's right here, so if I do negative 4 divided by 2, and then I square that, that's going to give me 4. Now, what do I do with that 4? Well, I add that right here. And the rule with equations is that if you do something on one side, you have to do it to the other. Rather than adding 4 to the left side, I'm going to subtract 4 from the right side. So this means that I've effectively added nothing to that side of the equation. I added 4, I subtracted 4, there's no difference. So then when I go ahead and I go to the next line, I can see that x squared minus 4x plus 4, well, that factors into x minus 2 times x minus 2, right? We need two numbers that multiply to positive 4 and add to negative 4. And this plus 7 minus 4, well, that comes together to give me plus 3. Finally, x minus 2 times x minus 2, well, something times itself is just that value squared. So we end up with x minus 2 squared plus 3. And this is vertex form. And as part of being vertex form, we can say that the vertex is going to be the point 2, 3. It's always the opposite sign of whatever's with the x. So in this case, x minus 2, the opposite of minus 2 is positive 2. And then it's the same sign for whatever's on the outside. So here the vertex would be the point 2, 3. Let's take a look at another example. This example is y equals x squared plus 8x minus 3. So I'm going to do the exact same thing as last time. Go ahead and pause the video and try it, see if you can do it yourself, and then resume it to see if you're able to get it right. So let's say we had x squared plus 8x. We could go ahead and we could throw that in parentheses there, just like we did last time, minus 3 on the outside. Now I think about what I do next, and you take the b value, which in this case is 8. I'm going to divide that number by 2. 8 divided by 2, well, that's 4. And I'm going to square it. 4 squared is going to give me 16. And if I added 16, I also have to take away 16, so that I haven't changed the equation at all. Just what it looks like. Now, this whole thing, two numbers that multiply to 16, add to 8, that could be 4 and 4. So this would factor into x plus 4 times x plus 4. Give me minus 19. X plus 4 times x plus 4 is x plus 4 squared minus 19. And we can see that the vertex form now exists. So the vertex for this would be negative 4, negative 19. Once again, it's the opposite sign of what's with the x. It was plus 4 here. So we went over here and we put a negative 4. But it's the same sign as what's out here. So negative 19 became negative 19. Now let's take a look at these two. These two are a little bit more complicated because the big difference here is what's in front of the x. Well, there's something there now in front of the x squared value, right? That wasn't the case before. This was just x squared. This was just x squared. Now we have 4x squared. So what I have to do is at the very beginning, when I go ahead and I put these brackets, I'm going to factor out a 4 from the x squared and from the 16x. So if I take a 4 out of 4x squared, you're dividing it out, so I'm just left with x squared. 16x divided by 4 is just 4x. And the minus 2 still just kind of hangs out over here. We're going to do the same process that we did before with completing the square. We're going to take this b value, we're going to divide it by 2. 4 divided by 2 is 2. And if we square that, 2 squared is 4, so I'm going to add 4 in here. Now last time we just added the same number, but this time it's going to be a little bit different. Because I'm not really just adding 4, am I? Because this 4 out front will get distributed in 4 times 4, I'd really be adding 16. So I have to subtract 16 out here. And then, just like the last problem, it factors nicely into x plus 2 times x plus 2, which is just x plus 2 squared. And minus 2 minus 16 is going to be minus 18. So we can see that our vertex here, which I'm just going to write as v, is going to be the point negative 2, negative 18. All right, great. Let's go ahead and pause the video and give this problem a shot. Once you've tried it, go ahead and resume. So we go ahead and we factor 3 out. And I'm left with x squared plus 8x. I'm going to leave a little space, minus 13. 8 divided by 2, let's see, that's 4. 4 squared is 16, so I add 16 in here. But remember, I'm really adding 3 times 16, so that's going to be plus 48. To undo that, I'm going to go ahead and subtract 48 out here. Going through the whole factoring process again, this would factor into x plus 4 times x plus 4. And then negative 13 minus 48, well, let's see, that's negative 61. So now we have our equation in vertex form. And we can see that the vertex would be the point negative 4, comma, negative 61. And there you have it. That's 4 different equations converting the quadratic in standard form, ax squared plus bx plus c, and turning into vertex form. Thanks for watching.